Some news just coming in. It's a big setback to RJD chief Lalu Yadav, who has now been sentenced to 5 years imprisonment is what we've been given to understand. The quantum of punishment has been announced in the cases that he was in fact facing. This is the third case that the Fodder scam, which of course has returned to torment Lalu Prasad. The quantum of punishment has now been announced days after he was found guilty. Big story at this hour. In fact, this is the verdict in the major Fodder scam with Lalu Prasad Yadav being sent to jail. That's the quantum of punishment that has been announced in the Fodder scam. 5 years in jail. 5 years of rigorous imprisonment for RJD chief Lalu Yadav. Remember, the Fodder scam case pertains to illegal withdrawals worth 950 crores from various government treasuries for fictitious expenditure on fodder and other requirements for cattle when Lalu Yadav was the Chief Minister of Bihar. The quantum of punishment, 5 years for Lalu Yadav, and this has been decided by the CBI Special Court in Ranchi. This also involves other convicts as well. Now, this particular case is in connection with the Deoghar treasury matter related again to the Fodder scam. Remember, there are several charges that Lalu Yadav has been facing, and this is another scam related to Fodder again. It's the Deoghar treasury case related to the Fodder scam. He's been sentenced to 5 years in jail. My colleague Rohit is getting asked, it's a major setback given that conviction has happened in other cases as well, Rohit, and of course the quantum of punishment announced today in the third case.
Well, absolutely. This is another setback for the RJD chief, as he has been sentenced for 5 years and also...
Rohit, be with us. We'll just come back to you. In fact, we have a reaction that is coming in from the lawyer.
अनाउंस किया गया कोर्ट के द्वारा। नेक्स्ट ऑप्शन हाई कोर्ट में अपील जाएंगे, क्योंकि मेरे ख्याल से जहां तक हम लोग इसको काउंट कर रहे हैं कि अप्रोक्स 36 मंथ हम लोग इसमें कस्टडी हो चुका है, तब इसमें हम लोग हाई कोर्ट में अपील में जाएंगे। हाफ सेंटेंस हम लोग करीब कंप्लीट कर लिए हैं। देखिए, आज जो सेंटेंस सुनाया जाना था 5 लाख रुपए 5 साल की सजा और 60 लाख रुपया जुर्माना अनाउंस किया गया कोर्ट के द्वारा। अब इस पर आगे हम लोग हाई कोर्ट जाएंगे, क्योंकि जहाँ तक हम लोग का कैलकुलेशन है कि हम लोग हाफ सेंटेंस कंप्लीट कर चुके हैं। जी हाँ, जी हाई कोर्ट से इनमें राहत मिल सकती है 60 लाख।
Okay, going back to my colleague Rohit, who continues to be with us. Rohit, talking about the manner in which this again is a big setback to RJD chief Lalu Yadav.
Well, absolutely. It is a setback for the RJD chief because he has already been convicted in 4 other cases and is serving sentence in that, though he's out on bail. But in the 5th case, which was the biggest of all the 5 cases that were going against him in the Fodder scam in Jharkhand, this was the biggest case, in fact, involving 139.35 crore rupees. And in this case also, he has not only been convicted on 15th of February, but today the quantum of punishment has been pronounced, and 5 years of imprisonment for the RJD chief, and 60 lakh rupees is the fine that has been imposed on him. So now Lalu will remain in jail at this point of time, but what the lawyers of Lalu are saying is that since he has completed half the sentence of the maximum punishment that has been given to him, which is 7 years in one of the cases which he was sentenced, he has already completed 3.5 years, that is half and a half sentence, so he is eligible for a bail. So that will in fact take some time. Today the judgment has come, and now it's a legal process that the lawyers of Lalu will be approaching the High Court in days to come, and then in the High Court they will be filing for a bail petition, and it remains to be seen that whether the Jharkhand High Court grants him bail or not. But as of now, this was the biggest of the 5 cases of the Fodder scam in which Lalu was involved, and in this Lalu has been sentenced for 5 years, and 60 lakh rupees fine has also been imposed on him.
Yes, Rohit, we'll talk about the politics of this also in a bit from now, but First, do give us an idea about the number of cases. You did mention there are 5. He's been convicted once in the year 2017 as well, because of which he's been in and out of jail essentially. Do get us up to speed with the developments vis-a-vis the other cases as well.
Well, absolutely. This multi-crore Fodder scam, which involved almost 1,000 crore rupees scam, it all came to light in 1995-96 when Lalu was the Chief Minister of Bihar. And after this entire case came to light and the case was registered by the CBI, in fact, more than 60 cases were filed in this case. FIRs were filed, and out of all those 60 FIRs, there were 6 cases in which Lalu was also named as an accused. And after the bifurcation of Bihar, 5 of those cases went to Jharkhand. They were shifted to Jharkhand, and 1 case is still going on in Patna. And from 2013, it all started when Lalu was convicted in the first Fodder scam case, and then in 2017, 2018, he was convicted in remaining other 3 cases also, and Lalu was in jail for quite a long period of time. And it was just last April when he got bail in those cases, because the maximum sentencing in one of the cases was involving 7 years, which he was given, and the counsel of Lalu, they approached
Rohit, we'll just come back to you again to talk about the convictions. Just coming back to you, the lawyer is reacting. Listen in.
सुना दिया गया है, 5 साल की सजा दी गई है और 60 लाख रुपए जुर्माना अनाउंस किया गया है कोर्ट के द्वारा।
आप लोगों का नेक्स्ट ऑप्शन क्या बचता है?
नेक्स्ट ऑप्शन हाई कोर्ट में अपील जाएंगे, क्योंकि मेरे ख्याल से जहां तक हम लोग इसको काउंट कर रहे हैं कि अप्रोक्स 36 मंथ हम लोग इसमें कस्टडी हो चुका है, तब इसमें हम लोग हाई कोर्ट में अपील में जाएंगे। हाफ सेंटेंस हम लोग करीब कंप्लीट कर लिए हैं।
आनंद जी, क्या कुछ हुआ?
देखिए, आज जो सेंटेंस सुनाया जाना था 5 साल की सजा और 60 लाख रुपया जुर्माना अनाउंस किया गया कोर्ट के द्वारा। अब इस पर आगे हम लोग हाई कोर्ट जाएंगे, क्योंकि जहां तक हम लोग का कैलकुलेशन है कि हम लोग हाफ सेंटेंस कंप्लीट कर चुके हैं।
राहत मिल सकती है?
जी हाँ, जी हाई कोर्ट से इनमें राहत मिल सकती है।
This tragedy really, Rohit, the lawyer clearly saying that he served time in jail, 36 months is what he said, and that's the reason why they're going to challenge this order in the higher court.
Well, absolutely. As the lawyers of Lalu were also claiming that since he has already served half of that sentence, which is 36 months, so in this case also he was automatically eligible for a bail, but that will take some time, because it's all about the legal process. First, the counsels of Lalu, they would have to take out all the judgment copy, and then they have to appeal in the higher court, which is the Jharkhand High Court. So this is likely to take about a month or 2 months time, and then remains to be seen whether after the bail petition is filed in the High Court in days to come, whether he gets bail from the Jharkhand High Court or whether he has to approach the Supreme Court also. That remains to be seen. But the lawyers of Lalu pretty confident here that since he has been sentenced only for 5 years in this last and final Fodder scam case against him in Jharkhand, he will immediately, in maybe a month's time or 2 months' time, and it's all about time, because legal process takes little bit of time, and therefore the counsels of Lalu are claiming that Lalu will get bail, and they would be approaching the Jharkhand High Court soon.
You know, Rohit, what really stands out in all of this in the last few years or so is the manner in which very little time actually has been spent by Lalu Yadav, in jail. He's really been in and out of hospital, both in Bihar and in the national capital as well, in Delhi's AIIMS, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. Since Lalu is around 75 at this point of time, his age is 75, and he's suffering from multiple ailments, and his kidneys also working about 25%. So he's suffering from a lot of ailments, and that is why we see that whenever he is sentenced to jail, he immediately says to the court, he pleads before the court that he is aging, he is suffering from multiple diseases, and that is why he should not be kept in jail. And in this case also, we saw that the day he was convicted on 15th of February, immediately he was sent to jail, and he spent just about an hour in jail, and then the court granted him the permission to be shifted to Rajendra Institute of Medical Sciences, that is RIMS in Ranchi, where he is undergoing a treatment once again. So this has been the case with Lalu in all the cases in which he has been convicted and was serving sentence.
Well, Rohit, talk about the politics of this. Of course, the RJD stands firmly with Lalu's daughter also, putting out tweets talking about her father facing some sort of political vendetta and that he will emerge stronger. But what's interesting in all of this is the manner in which the Congress, particularly Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, who's come out in support of Lalu Yadav, talking about so-called BJP's vendetta politics.
Well, absolutely. That was surprising. In fact, Priyanka Gandhi, when she tweeted in support of Lalu a couple of days back, so that was really surprising. But the RJD, in fact, welcomed the tweet of Priyanka Gandhi in support of Lalu Prasad Yadav because they believe that the Congress is standing with the RJD here. And as far as politics is concerned, in fact, since 2017, when Lalu went to jail in 2017, he knew that things were not going pretty well for him and problems would be mounting for him. And that is why it is way back in 2017, almost 5 years back, that he had declared that his successor would be Tejasvi Yadav and he would be running the party. Though Lalu continues to remain the national president of the party and he runs the party from the jail also, but as far as the working of the operations of the party is concerned, it is Tejasvi Yadav who is calling the shots for the last 5 years. We saw assembly elections in 2020 was fought under the leadership of Tejasvi Yadav. 2019 Lok Sabha elections were also fought under the leadership of Tejasvi Yadav. So one thing is very much clear as far as Bihar politics is concerned, that Tejasvi is the next man after Lalu Prasad, and we are seeing here that the family also is alleging that injustice has been meted out to Lalu in the Fodder scam case. He was not involved. All these things are being said as far as Lalu's family is concerned.
Yes.
But Lalu now is in jail and Tejasvi Yadav is in control of the party for the last 5 years, and it is going to be the case in future as well.
Rohit, when it comes to relief that the lawyers are expecting really from the court for him, is it possible that he get bail once again on medical grounds, given that you also have been talking about it, the manner in which he's been unwell, he's of age, and that on that basis, will he get bail is the big question here.
See, one thing was very much sure that had Lalu been given 3 years of sentence, then obviously immediately on the 15th of February, he would have automatically got bail from the court there itself. But since his name was not there, he was not given 3 years sentence, it was very much clear that day that Lalu would be pronounced something like 5 years or 7 years of sentence, and that is what has happened today. And as far as legal formalities are concerned, now the counsels of Lalu Prasad would be taking out all the reports and the judgment. They would be going through the judgment of the special CBI court in Ranchi in connection with this case. And I believe in next 2 to 3 weeks, they would be filing a bail petition in the Jharkhand High Court. Now remains to be seen that when the hearing will take place in the Jharkhand High Court and whether the Jharkhand High Court grants bail to Lalu on the grounds that he is aging, he is almost 75, suffering from multiple ailments. And if the Jharkhand High Court also rejects his bail petition as was in the earlier cases, then Lalu would be approaching the Supreme Court and then Supreme Court would be deciding whether Lalu should be given bail or not. But in the last few cases we have seen where Lalu was convicted and was serving a jail sentence,
yes, that
the Supreme Court last year had granted bail to Lalu Prasad, but not on the grounds that he was aging and suffering from multiple ailments, but on the ground that he had already served half the sentence.
And that's the argument once again. Rohit, thank you for getting us up to speed with those developments. We'll of course keep coming back to you for more.